After John Glenn became the first American to orbit Earth on February 20th, 1962, his fellow astronauts began to fly longer and farther into space. The one-man Mercury spacecraft gave way to the 2 men in the Gemini program, and then to 3 in the Apollo spacecraft. As astronauts walked in space and on the moon, scientists and engineers dreamed of journeys to other planets. These other worlds remained out of reach for astronauts, but not for human technology. Unmanned spaceships flew by, orbited, and then landed on Mars. I'm Jim Lovell, and I was fortunate to fly on 2 Gemini and 2 Apollo missions. This volume of America's achievements in space brings you right there. You'll ride in a Gemini spacecraft, walk in space, and see the surface of the moon from the windows of an Apollo command ship. You'll also see startling photographs of Mars sent back to Earth from 100 million miles away by Mariner 9. Using the pictures from this unmanned mission, Carl Sagan, the well-known scientist and author, narrates the surprising discoveries that were made. And he and other experts also described the search for life on this mysterious planet. These tapes, made directly from the films in NASA's archives, represent the official historical record of this exciting era of exploration. The United States launched the first mission in history to Mars in November 1964. Mariner 4 was still on its way to Mars in June 1965 when Ed White and Jim McDivitt orbited the Earth aboard Gemini 4. You'll feel like you are there with Ed as he walks around the ship while it orbits 100 miles above the Earth. On Gemini 7, Frank Borman and I set a record of 13 days, 18 and a half hours in space in December 1965. The American space program was progressing rapidly, but tragedy struck on January 27, 1967, during a test at Cape Canaveral. A flash fire aboard an Apollo spacecraft took the lives of Ed White, Gus Grissom, and Roger Chaffee. It took us almost 2 years to get back to the point where astronauts could safely fly in space again. But by December 1968, NASA was ready to break the gravitational bounds of Earth and send men to the moon. In the Apollo 8 mission, Frank Borman, Bill Anders, and I would travel faster and farther than any men in history. In this tape, you will see the lunar surface as we saw it for the first time. And you'll see the marvelous view of the Earth from 240,000 miles away. It is a view that has changed the perspective of many people, including me, when I realized that our planet is a beautiful oasis in the vast desert of space. See if you agree when you see the Earth as we did.
December 21st, 1968. The shortest day of the year, but in significance, perhaps one of the longest in the flow of history.
This is Apollo Saturn Launch Control. We are still go at this time. T-minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. We have ignition sequence start. The engines are on. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have commit. We have liftoff. Liftoff at 7:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have cleared the top.
Tower clear, 13 seconds.
The United States was undertaking the most distant voyage ever attempted by man. For the first time, 3 Americans rode the Saturn V moon rocket.
Apollo 8 Houston, you are go for staging, over. Staging. Our set complete, SEP. Roger, understand, SEP. We hear you loud and clear, Apollo 8. Okay, the first stage was very smooth, and this one is smoother. Apollo 8 Houston, your trajectory and guidance are go, over. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, you're looking real good, Frank.
Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders were about to leave their cradle Earth and face the infinite frontier.
Apollo 8 Houston. Go ahead, Houston. Apollo 8, you are go for TLI, over. Roger, understand. We're go for TLI.
TLI, Translunar Insertion. This was the commitment. Borman, Lovell, and Anders were ready for the maneuver that would send them to the moon. As the world listened and watched, its people were overtaken by a new awareness, an awareness that they were perhaps witnessing the overture to the ultimate destiny of man.
Lovell confirms ignition. And the thrust is okay, Booster says.
On board the spacecraft and in mission control, the men of Apollo 8 watched the readouts. Velocity buildup in feet per second. The numbers snowballing toward the velocity that would allow the spacecraft to escape Earth's gravity.
And Borman says we've got SECO. Cutoff was right on the second.
With the cutoff of their third stage engine, Apollo 8 was traveling faster than had any men before, a coasting uphill climb against the pull of their native planet. Now the third stage, the S-4B, was just useless mass to them. It was jettisoned, then later placed into an orbit around the sun. The crew of Apollo 8 turned around for a look.
Houston, Apollo 8, how do you rate? You're loud and clear, Frank. How are you? Roger, we're loud and clear. We're taking pictures of the S-4B. The post-separation sequence is completed, and we seem to have a high gain. Give us a clue as to what it looks like from way up there. Roger. I can see the entire Earth now out of the center window. I can see Florida, Cuba, Central America, the whole northern half of Central America, in fact, all the way down through Argentina and down through Chile. You picked a good day for it. Houston, for information, I'm looking through the scanning telescope now, and I see millions of stars, most of them the venting from the S-4B.
The crew of Apollo 8 now settled down to the routine of the outward flight. Systems checks, observations, navigational star sightings.
Jim, they've just been looking at your marks with respect to accuracy, and they figure they're within a couple thousandths of a degree of the theoretical optimum.
Lovell's proficiency in navigating the spacecraft with its onboard optical instruments would eventually earn him the nickname the man with the golden fingers. His speed was such that he would be requested to slow down so that the earthbound machines recording the data could keep up with him. The accuracy of his sightings was virtually flawless, symbolic of the entire mission. A mission so accurate that several of the planned mid-course corrections would be dropped as unnecessary. Astronauts, spacecraft, flight controllers, computers. The precision was fantastic. Then, on the second day out, the world looked in on the crew via television.
This transmission is coming to you approximately halfway between the moon and the Earth. We've been 31 hours, about 20 minutes into flight. We have about less than 40 hours left to go to the moon.
So Apollo